Hello and welcome to the next installment of Kerbal Space Program. So yesterday, version 1, the actual final release version of Kerbal Space Program was released to Steam, and I've updated to it. And basically I had to wipe away my entire previous install and start over from scratch because I had installed a bunch of mods like KW Rocketry, B9 Aerospace, Ferrum Aerospace Research, one or two others. I can't even remember what all I had in there. And some of this stuff is incompatible, and even though it appeared like it was going to disable it, it didn't work right. So I just decided to go ahead and blow everything away and start over from the beginning. So I wiped out the folder, all my save games, everything, tossed it in the trash, in the recycle bin, emptied the recycle bin, and then re-downloaded the game. And so here we are. So if you're watching this, I appreciate it because there are certainly a lot of people out there that are going to do a better job of this than I am. So if you're watching this, I'm glad, and I hope you stick around. Anyway, I'm running out of words to say there, so I'm going to go ahead and start the game and just kind of go through some of the things that I've seen that are different in the new version. So first of all, this is Valentina. This is our first, and as far as I know, so far only female Kerbal astronaut. Going to start a new game. I'm going to make it a sandbox game. I'm just going to call it RR Sandbox. This is the same as it always has been. Let me just pick an interesting thing here. Ooh, that looks interesting. I'll take that one. Okay, so we're going to start this. Yeah, so I've got that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the changes to the aircraft. So first of all, this over here is pretty much the same as it has been, although like the inline cockpit has been redesigned. I think pretty much everything else is the same as it has been, although this looks new. Probe miniaturization. I never really messed around with probes, so I never really paid attention to what was all available as far as unmanned probes go. I always did manned stuff. So yeah, some of this stuff may be new, some of this stuff or all of this stuff may be what's here before and just redesigned. I don't know. So I'm going to build a simple plane here, and let's see. Whoops, I need a fuel tank, and it does look like we have a few, like maybe a couple extra things in here. Like this, I think is new. This, I believe, is new. Some of the stuff like the Mark III. I don't know what all is new. Like I said, I was playing for a long time with the mods installed, so I kind of lost track of what was new and what was not. Okay, so we're going to get one fuel tank, and of course, being an aircraft, you don't need a lot of fuel for that, so we're going to go over here to aerodynamics, and we're going to, wait, no, I want structural, excuse me. I'm going to put on a couple of structural fuselages, and then I'm going to go ahead and put one more on there. Okay. And then I'm going to go over to aerodynamics. Now, I'll get to these in a little bit when I talk about the rocketry, but as you can see, we've got these protective shells now. So these are procedural fairings. I'll explain to you what those are later, but for right now I just want to get this nose cone, and this is a new nose cone too, and put it on my plane. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put on an advanced canard. Put that there. And then I am going to put a couple of these guys on the sides here. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn on my center of mass, my center of lift, so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put some wings on. Alright, so we've got these fat aeroplane main wings now. These are new. I'm not going to put those on here because they're way too huge. Aeroplane tail fin. Again, way too huge. But you also notice the advanced canard looks different. The old one was forward swept. This one looks cooler. So let's see. I want to put on swept wings. So that's interesting. Yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and build up wings. So I want to do I want, where are they? Where's the thing I want? Standard canard. Oh, there we go. That's what I want. Swiveling type A. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Wow, that's going to move the center of lift way back there. That's okay. I'm going to put engines on, so that won't matter too much. And, let's see. Can I put these on too? No. Let's actually do this. Okay, put these on here like so. Put these on in front. No, actually I'm gonna... Alright, I want to move these back, so I want to do offset here, select this, move it back. I said, wait, select this, move them back. There we go. Okay, hit place, go ahead and mount these on, line them up. Hey, stop that. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and put a tail fin. Does this thing have the ability to steer? Fin has been blended to prevent accidental dismemberment of its flying technicians. It doesn't look like it has a steer ability, so I am going to... let's see, I can put that on there. Oh, that's interesting. Space plane tail fin. Yeah, you can basically build like a space shuttle. Yeah, I'm going to put this on here. I'll put this kind of like so. That ought to work well. Okay, and then I need to put some control surfaces on here. So, let's see. I want that doubled. Let's see. This was always tricky to try and get these to line up. Let me start over again here. Okay, let me grab these again here. Okay, so I want to put these on here like so. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I've got ailerons for steering, I've got canards for lift, I've got this for steering. Okay, so now I got to put intakes and engines on. Okay, so now I'm going to put on, where'd they go? So these guys. So this is the new ram air intake. It looks, I want one. There we go. I want to rotate them so that they look like that. Okay, and now let's put on a couple of turbo ramjet engines. It's now called the Whiplash turbo ramjet engine. So get on there, you. Get on there. There we go. Okay. Alright, this is actually looking pretty cool. Alright, so, yeah, center of gravity, center of lift, it's the center of mass is a little bit forward. So I'm going to actually go ahead and move these wings forward a little bit here. That's not what I wanted. Crap. Alright. Control Z. Alright, I want you to move forward and you to move forward. There we go. That'll put them a little close. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Alright, now just got to get some landing gear on here and then we'll be ready to take off and show you what else is new about Kerbal Space Program. Alright, see, I want to line that up and then I'll just go ahead and put these like so. And I'm actually going to go ahead and put this on that way as well. Alright, so call it YouTube Demo Jet, save it, launch it. Okay, so here we are now. Turn on SAS, activate the engines, and away we go. Now, the aerodynamics model has been completely overhauled. You will notice that I am moving a lot faster than I would have in the first one. Also, you can hear the sound and you can see it kind of shaking, like when you're subject to large g-forces. See how fast I'm going? I'm already going supersonic. I'm actually going to slow this down. Actually, no, I'm going to let it go, and I'll show you because I want to show you something else. Okay, so here we go. Go ahead and level out there. You can, again, hear the that buffeting. Of course, we got Jebediah Kerman down here because, you know, he's just a badass. Okay, so you see now we're going through heating. We're already doing, and the heating model, as you can see, has been redone. I basically just blew up my air intakes, as well as a couple of my aerodynamic surfaces. So now I have no power. My canards are gone. My tail fins are gone. The only elevators I have are these things here, and they're not very effective. Although they're pretty decent at rotating me around, you know, putting me into a roll. So heating is definitely a thing. You know, there was a mod called Deadly Reentry. Don't think that's necessary anymore to model the potentially deadly effects of heat. So I'm going to go ahead and revert this back to launch, and I'm going to fly it again, only this time I am not going to run it at full throttle. I'm actually going to get it up high in the altitude here. Let me go ahead and do this so I can look at my intake air. Take off. You see how much easier it is to take off too. Aerodynamic. You see, even with the throttle this low, I'm going really fast. I've already gone supersonic. I'm at like about a third throttle. Okay, so I'm now decelerating. And as I move higher into the atmosphere and the air thins, you can see my rate of deceleration is decreasing. I'm slowing down slower. And eventually my change in speed will stop, and then I will start accelerating again because I am now passed through the area of maximum dynamic pressure, at least for the speed that I'm going. So I'll go ahead and throttle up here. I'm already at 10,000 feet. Actually a pretty cool plane. Okay, I'm going to slow it down here a little bit. Try to avoid too much superheating. Okay, there we go. I've come higher in the atmosphere. You can see my intake air is almost zero here, so I'm about to run out of air. And there we go, run out of air. And let's see what kind of altitude I got. So you can see I'm going to apoapsis at 46,000 feet. Earlier I built a kind of a space plane. I had a completely different plan form than this, but it was in many ways very similar. I had two engines like this, but I had the Rapier engines on there. And I was able to, you know, instead of these kinds of things, I had actual rocket fuel tanks with oxidizer. And it wasn't that hard to get it into orbit. And in fact, I actually wasted a couple of my control surfaces, but I still made it into orbit. Alright, go ahead and revert this. I'm going to revert this back to the spaceplane hangar. And now we're going to go exit here, and we're going to go look at these procedural fairings. So, let's see here. Let's do this. I want a, let's see, a remote guidance unit. Right, so we're going to put a fuel tank on here. Let's see, is this the right size? Yep. And I'll put another one of these down below. And let me see, I've got components, right? Mass mode. Where did I get components again? I know I did this before. I never really messed much with components, but engines, command, structure science. No. This is really bizarre. I know I was doing this. Well, anyway, no, we'll just ignore that for now. So we'll go back over here. Let's see, pods, engines, command and control, structural, aerodynamics, utility science. Don't know. Action groups, crew, launch, save, load. Huh. Well, you know, I never really played much with components. I did it once, and now I can't remember where in the user interface they went. So, whatever. Maybe I don't have any. I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and put an engine down here. Let's try the old standby. You see they all have names now, right? So let's do the T45. And I want to put... I'm just gonna put the fairing on here. So aerodynamics, right? So let's go ahead. Airstream. Whoa, that's too big. There we go. Okay, so now here we go. Here's the protective fairing, right? So you see what I'm doing is I'm clicking. There we go. And now I close it. So this is going to be interesting. I really don't know what this is going to do. Okay, so my center of lift is down here, right? Because I don't have any fins. I'm going to put some fins on here. Let's see. Let's put 4 fins on here. And let's go ahead and put some of these on here. So that, alright. And I'm going to launch it. I'm curious as to see what this fairing does. I imagine it's going to be very strange. Okay. Oh, what's this? Oh, that opens the fairing. That's probably not what I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and move the engine down here. And then I'm going to put the clamps down here. And then I am going to throttle up, hit SAS, launch, and go. Now I haven't played with the rockets as much as I have with the aircraft since 1.0 came out yesterday. Of course, it's only been out since yesterday. But I think that the same revamping of the aerodynamics in this also makes it so that rockets will move faster through the lower atmosphere as well, which should theoretically make it easier to get into space. Well, this thing seems to be doing okay. It looks really funny, but because I've got these big fins on the bottom here, you see the fins are like really effective now. I could actually spin this thing out of control probably if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to try to get this into space. Let's see, how am I doing here? I am, apoapsis is only 14,000 feet. I don't know. We will see. We'll see if I have enough fuel to get this thing up into space. I think I can get it into space, but I don't think I've got enough to get it into orbit. Let's switch to the orbit view. Okay, you see that the orbit. But I am starting to really pick up speed now. The apoapsis is climbing. Basically, if I can get it to above 70,000 meters, which is the edge of space. Okay, so then we're going to get about 70. Oh, boom, cut off the fuel. And I've got about that much fuel left. Whoa, 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 whoa. And because because I didn't have the controllability of my gimbaled rocket engine here, I basically gone edge on to my direction of travel, and I cannot flip it over. So I basically am going to have to wait to see if I can even get into space. Oh, look, man, by being sideways onto my direction of travel, I've slowed down enough that I'm not even going to make it into orbit. So I'm going to do that. And as you see, the fairing kind of split apart really nice. Okay, well, enough of that. We're going to go back to the vehicle assembly building. And I just want to show one more thing before I end this video here. Let's go back over here. Let's take a look at some of the planes. Now, nice thing here too is you got like these nice little thumbnails of the aircraft. So I am going to bring in, I see there's my YouTube demo jet. So is this the one that I want? So this guy right here. Okay, so this thing, well, look at this. I mean, doesn't that look cool? Right, so crew. Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure Valentina's in there. And let's launch. Now even this big lumbering thing, I have to be a little careful. Look at how that flexes. I have to be a little careful because even this thing can accelerate to ridiculous speeds in the lower atmosphere to the point where it'll actually overheat. As you can see, this thing has 4 crew. So there's Valentina. Like Jebediah, she thinks that this is just the greatest thing ever. Okay, did you see how it took off on its own? I didn't have to do anything. It just took off on its own because it was angled slightly upward. The aerodynamics in this, it now better models all of the surfaces, so the wings as well as lifting bodies. You can see I've already approaching supersonic speed, so I'm going to slow this down a bit here. I'm going to start. See the G-forces climbing, see the wings flexing, but look at Valentina, man. She's just having the time of her life. Let's look at her from the side. There she is. She's just having a blast. She really should be piloting this thing, or at least the co-pilot. She and Jeb. I wonder if Jebediah and Valentina have, are like in a relationship or something. It seems like they would go well together. I was watching a video by Scott Manley, who is, you know, the absolute dean of Kerbal Space Program on YouTube, and he mentioned something about the fact that, like Jebediah, Valentina has the badass flag set. I don't know if that's the technical term for it or what, but you know, presumably it means that, you know, she's not afraid of anything that, you know, anything that happens unless it's horribly, horribly wrong. She's just got this giant grin on her face. Oh, wow, I'm slowing down. I better speed up here. Let's go ahead and level out. See how it's a little bit less stable here? It's actually behaving a lot like the previous version did with Ferrum Aerospace installed. It would not surprise me if they actually incorporated some of the code from Ferrum or other similar mod. I know there's at least one or two others that did more or less the same thing, but Ferrum is the one that I was using. It seems to be the most popular anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did that, because you notice how it slightly rocked over a little bit there. You know, so as you maneuver around, you get either maybe they're throwing in a little bit of randomness or a little bit of chaos or something. But with your SAS on, it doesn't fly completely rock solid steady. See how I'm not quite heading directly east? Actually, a little bit to the right. Bob and Bill not having a good time. Valentina and Jebediah having a blast. And anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to show you this time, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Again, if you came here when you could have been watching a much better YouTube personality doing Kerbal Space Program and telling you about what's new, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And especially if you stayed this long and listened to my commentary. Thanks again, and expect to see some more videos from me in the future when I start playing with the rockets more. Maybe going to the moon, for example. Show you the great big wobble factor that happens because of the updates to the aerodynamics and to the structural physics. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.